Hello, fellow aficionados. He who controls his emotions controls his life. Think about that for a moment. Every outburst, every moment you let your emotions run wild is a loss of control over your reactions, your decisions, and ultimately your destiny. Most people live at the mercy of their emotions, reacting impulsively to every stressor, every annoyance. But what if you could train yourself to remain unshaken, no matter what life throws at you? This isn't just a fantasy, it's the core of Stoicism. Today, we're diving into the daily habits that can transform you from an emotional slave to a master of your inner world. Are you ready to take full control of your life? Because once you learn these habits, there's no going back. Number 1. Recognize emotional triggers before they own you. Most people go through life letting their emotions blindside them. Something happens, and before they know it, they're yelling, sulking, or shutting down. They react first, think later. But here's the deal. When you allow your emotions to control your actions, you're essentially giving your power away. Recognizing your emotional triggers is like having a superpower. The moment you feel that anger, frustration, or even excitement creeping in, you have to pause. That pause is golden. It's the split second where you get to choose how you respond instead of letting raw emotion dictate the outcome. This isn't about suppressing how you feel, it's about mastering it. The more you practice noticing these emotional red flags, the less often you'll get blindsided. You start seeing them coming from a mile away, and before long you're not reacting. You're controlling the situation with calm precision. You become unshakable, not because emotions disappear, but because they no longer control the narrative. The power shifts back to you, and that's where real control begins. Number 2, detach from external validation. Life is a constant reminder that nothing lasts forever. The highs, the lows, the wins, the losses, they're all just moments passing through. Yet so many people live as if every setback is the end of the world, or every achievement will define their worth forever. The truth is, life is always changing. That joy you feel, temporary. That frustration that's eating you up inside, temporary. When you understand how fleeting everything really is, you start to detach from the emotional grip these moments have on you. Stoicism teaches you to see life with a wider lens. Instead of getting lost in the moment, you zoom out and remember that what feels so intense right now is probably not going to matter a week, a month, or a year from now. Think about all the things you once lost sleep over. Arguments, failures, disappointments. How many of them still have any real impact on your life today? Probably none. But when you were in the middle of it, it felt massive. That's the trick your emotions play. They make everything feel like it's happening at a 10, when in reality most things barely register at a 3 once you give it some time. When you start living with this perspective, it's like a weight is lifted. You stop getting so worked up over every little thing. You realize that the struggles you're facing are just temporary bumps in the road, and the successes are moments to appreciate but not cling to. This doesn't mean you become indifferent to life. It means you stop letting every event dictate your mood. You start moving through life with a sense of calm, knowing that both the good and the bad are just passing through. Nothing sticks around forever. What's truly liberating is that when you internalize this, you don't just ride the highs and lows, you find balance. You start responding to life, not reacting to it. You don't get overwhelmed by stress because you know it'll pass. You don't get overly attached to praise because you know it's fleeting. Life becomes more about enjoying the ride, not obsessing over every twist and turn. That's the power of recognizing life's impermanence. You get to experience everything without being ruled by it. You control how you move through it, rather than letting it control you. Number 3, understand the ephemeral nature of life. Everything in life is temporary. The moments of joy, the pain, the victories, and the defeats, they all come and go. But the problem is, most people get so caught up in the moment that they act like everything is permanent. They celebrate like their success will last forever, or fall into despair when things go wrong, as if the bad times will never end. The reality is, none of it sticks around. Stoicism is about accepting this truth, that life is in constant motion, and nothing stays the same for long. When you truly grasp how temporary everything is, something shifts inside you. You stop getting so emotionally tangled in every situation, because you know that whatever you're going through right now, whether it's fantastic or terrible, won't last. If you're feeling on top of the world, enjoy it, but don't get too attached. If you're feeling like everything is falling apart, take comfort in knowing that this too will pass. It's this awareness that keeps you grounded. The danger comes when people let their emotions run wild, believing every experience is more significant than it actually is. That embarrassing mistake at work, you'll barely remember it in a year. That huge fight with a friend, give it time, and it'll either be resolved or forgotten. We waste so much energy worrying about things that in the grand scheme of life are just small blips on the radar. When you live with the understanding that nothing is forever, you start making decisions from a place of calm instead of panic. It doesn't mean you stop caring. You still feel the highs and the lows, but you don't let them consume you. You move through life with a kind of emotional flexibility. You can enjoy the good without fearing its end, and you can endure the bad without thinking it's going to last forever. This mindset gives you a certain power over your emotions because you're not at their mercy. You don't need to chase happiness or run from discomfort because you know both are just passing phases. Living with this perspective brings a sense of peace most people will never experience. You're not constantly fighting the ups and downs of life because you understand they're inevitable. It's like stepping out of the storm while everyone else is getting tossed around by the winds. You learn to stand firm, knowing that whatever comes your way, it's only temporary. And that's where real emotional strength comes from. Not from avoiding life's challenges, but from knowing they can't break you because nothing, good or bad, ever lasts. Number 4, turn criticism into feedback, not fuel for ego. You can't control what happens to you, but you can always control how you respond to it. That's one of the most powerful lessons you can learn. Life will throw things at you, unexpected setbacks, rude comments, tough situations, and most people react without even thinking. They let their emotions take over, and before they know it, they're either in a full-blown argument or stuck feeling miserable for days. But here's the thing, reacting emotionally only makes things worse. When you lash out or get worked up, you're giving the situation control over you. It's like handing over your peace of mind to someone else or to circumstances that are out of your hands. When you focus on controlling your response instead of the situation, everything changes. Suddenly, you're the one in charge, not your emotions. Someone says something offensive, you don't have to take the bait. You can choose to stay calm, to not let their words dictate your mood. Something goes wrong at work or in your personal life. You can accept it for what it is and respond in a way that's productive instead of spiraling into frustration. This isn't about being passive or ignoring problems. It's about staying composed and intentional in your actions. What most people don't realize is that your response is the only real power you have. You can't control what others do or what life throws at you, but you always have control over how you react. And the better you get at mastering that response, the less chaos you allow into your life. Instead of getting angry, you can choose to let it go. Instead of getting anxious, you can choose to focus on what you can actually control. It's not easy, but with practice, it becomes second nature. The beauty of this approach is that it frees you from being a victim of circumstances. No matter what happens, you remain steady. You don't get swept up in the drama or stress. You get to decide how much power any situation has over you. And when you stop reacting emotionally to everything that comes your way, you create a level of peace and clarity that most people never reach. It's like a shield. Life can throw what it wants at you, but you remain untouched, steady in your ability to choose your response. That's real strength. Number 5, master the art of non-reaction. Most people are constantly chasing comfort. They want everything to be easy, predictable, and safe. But here's the hard truth. Growth doesn't happen when you're comfortable. It happens when you're uncomfortable, when you're pushed beyond your limits and forced to confront challenges that make you question yourself. Stoicism is all about embracing discomfort, not running from it. When you willingly put yourself in difficult situations, whether it's a hard workout, a tough conversation, or taking on a new challenge that scares you, you become stronger, more resilient, and more in control of your emotions. Avoiding discomfort may feel good in the moment, but it leaves you weaker in the long run. Think about it. Every time you take the easy way out, you're teaching yourself to retreat at the first sign of difficulty. You're letting fear and discomfort dictate your actions. But when you embrace discomfort, you learn that you're capable of handling far more than you thought. You build mental toughness, the kind that allows you to stay calm and focused when things don't go as planned. You stop letting discomfort intimidate you because you've trained yourself to handle it. The irony is, the more you embrace discomfort, the more comfortable you actually become with life's challenges. You stop getting thrown off by stress, by setbacks, by uncertainty. You learn to face difficulties head-on instead of avoiding them. This doesn't mean you go looking for suffering. It means you stop avoiding it when it shows up. And because of that, when life inevitably throws a curveball your way, you're ready. You're not rattled or thrown into panic because you've been there before. You've built the muscle to handle it. Growth and comfort don't live in the same space. If you want to become stronger, wiser, and more emotionally resilient, you have to be willing to step outside the bubble of comfort. You have to take risks, face your fears, and push through the pain that comes with growth. And when you do, you'll find that discomfort is no longer something to dread. It's something you welcome because you know what it leads to: a stronger, sharper, and more capable version of yourself. That's the reward for embracing the uncomfortable. Number 6. View challenges as teachers, not punishments. It's easy to get swept up in the chaos of life and let your emotions dictate your actions. But here's a little secret. Mastering your emotional responses isn't about suppressing feelings. It's about transforming them into something constructive. This is where emotional alchemy comes in. Instead of letting negative emotions like anger, frustration, or sadness drag you down, you can use them as fuel for personal growth. When you recognize that your emotions are powerful tools, you start to see them differently. Take anger, for instance. Most people react to anger by either exploding or withdrawing, but if you pause and channel that energy, you can turn it into motivation. Let's say you're furious about an injustice or a setback. Instead of letting that anger lead to rash decisions or arguments, use it to drive action. Maybe it's the push you need to tackle a long overdue project, confront a problem you've been avoiding, or stand up for yourself in a meaningful way. Frustration is another powerful emotion. It's easy to get stuck in a loop of feeling frustrated and doing nothing about it. But what if you use that frustration to find creative solutions? When you're annoyed by a recurring issue, let it be the catalyst that inspires you to find a better way. That same frustration can lead to breakthroughs if you let it. Even sadness has its place. Instead of hiding from it, let it teach you. Sadness often reveals what truly matters to you. It can highlight areas of your life that need attention or change. Use that insight to make adjustments and move forward stronger. The key is to shift from being a passive recipient of your emotions to an active creator of your responses. When you can take a step back and decide how to use your feelings, you're no longer controlled by them. You're harnessing their energy for positive change. This approach doesn't mean you're ignoring or denying your emotions. It means you're taking control of them and transforming them into something that works for you rather than against you. By doing this, you stop being a victim of your emotional state and start being the master of it. You find strength in your ability to convert negative emotions into constructive actions, which ultimately leads to personal growth and resilience. It's like turning lead into gold. Your emotions become powerful allies in your journey rather than obstacles in your path. Number 7. Embrace discomfort without complaints. Living in the present is more than just a trendy mantra. It's a powerful practice that can transform your entire outlook on life. Many people are trapped in the cycle of dwelling on the past or obsessing over the future. They replay old mistakes or worry about what might happen, losing sight of the one moment they actually have control over, the present. This fixation on yesterday and tomorrow not only robs you of peace, but also keeps you emotionally unstable. You're either haunted by regrets or paralyzed by anxiety, and neither of these states is conducive to a balanced life. Focusing on the present moment means fully engaging with what's happening right now. It's about tuning into your current experiences and appreciating them without the interference of past failures or future uncertainties. When you're truly present, you're not letting the echoes of yesterday dictate your mood or the fears of tomorrow cloud your actions. You're experiencing life as it unfolds, with clarity and intention. This doesn't mean ignoring past lessons or planning for the future. It means recognizing that the only place where you have real influence is the present. When you dwell on past mistakes, you're reliving the pain without gaining anything new from it. When you obsess over future possibilities, you're wasting energy on scenarios that may never come to pass. In both cases, you're missing out on the actual moments where real progress and joy can occur. Mastering the present moment involves simple practices. Start by grounding yourself with mindful awareness. Pay attention to your surroundings, your thoughts, and your feelings without judgment. Engage fully in whatever task you're doing. When you're having a conversation, listen actively instead of letting your mind wander. When you're working, immerse yourself in the task rather than worrying about what's next. The impact of this practice is profound. When you live in the present, you reduce the emotional burden of regret and worry. You start experiencing life's richness as it happens, rather than being stuck in a mental loop. You become more effective and less stressed because you're focusing on what you can actually influence. By embracing the present moment, you reclaim control over your emotional state, finding a deeper sense of satisfaction and balance. Number 8. Cut out the noise and focus on what you can control. Your mind is an incredible tool, but it can also be a relentless critic. Often, it's the harshest judge of your actions, abilities, and decisions. Negative self-talk can become a vicious cycle where you're constantly doubting yourself, undermining your confidence, and letting insecurities dictate your behavior. But here's a game changer. You don't have to let your inner critic run the show. By consciously choosing to replace self-criticism with self-compassion, you transform the way you interact with yourself and, consequently, with the world. Start by acknowledging that everyone makes mistakes and that nobody is perfect. This isn't just about being kind to yourself. It's about recognizing that being human means being flawed. When you make a mistake, instead of berating yourself, treat yourself with the same compassion you would offer a friend. Understand that errors are opportunities for growth, not markers of failure. This shift in perspective can change everything. When you stop seeing mistakes as personal failings and start viewing them as chances to learn, you release a huge amount of unnecessary stress and pressure. Another powerful way to silence your inner critic is through positive affirmations. Replace negative self-talk with affirmations that reinforce your strengths and achievements. Every time you catch yourself thinking, "I'm not good enough," or "I can't do this," counter it with something positive. Remind yourself of past successes, your unique skills, and your progress. This practice doesn't just boost your self-esteem, it gradually rewires your brain to focus on your strengths rather than your shortcomings. Visualization is another technique that complements this process. Picture yourself achieving your goals and handling challenges with confidence. This mental rehearsal primes you for success by creating a mental image of victory. The more vividly you imagine yourself succeeding, the more likely you are to act confidently in real life. Self-compassion also involves treating yourself kindly in your everyday actions. Celebrate your wins, however small, and be gentle with yourself during setbacks. Practice gratitude for your efforts and accomplishments, and don't let your inner critic overshadow your achievements. By consistently practicing self-compassion, you transform your relationship with yourself. You become your own ally instead of your harshest critic. This change not only enhances your emotional well-being, but also empowers you to take risks and pursue goals without the paralyzing fear of failure. When you support yourself through kindness rather than criticism, you unlock a reservoir of inner strength and resilience. The result is a more confident, motivated, and emotionally balanced you, one who can face life's challenges with a renewed sense of purpose and self-assurance. Number 9. Commit to daily self-reflection without self-judgment. In a world where everyone seems to be shouting their opinions from the rooftops, mastering the art of silence can be one of the most powerful tools in your emotional arsenal. Silence isn't about shutting down or being passive. It's a deliberate choice to withhold your reaction and maintain control over your emotions and responses. By choosing when to speak and when to remain silent, you gain a strategic advantage in handling conflicts and managing your emotional state. Consider how often people speak impulsively when they're upset. They react to criticism, lash out during arguments, or blurt out things they later regret. This immediate response often escalates the situation and leaves you feeling vulnerable and exposed. By choosing silence, you avoid adding fuel to the fire. Instead of responding in the heat of the moment, you give yourself the space to think clearly and respond more effectively. This pause can be incredibly powerful because it allows you to choose a response that's measured and thoughtful rather than knee-jerk and reactive. Silence also offers a unique opportunity for observation. When you stop talking, you start listening more intently. You pick up on nuances in conversations, understand other people's perspectives better, and gain valuable insights into their motivations and emotions. This can give you a significant advantage in both personal and professional interactions. You're not just reacting to what's said. You're observing and processing the full context, which enables you to respond in ways that are more strategic and empathetic. Moreover, mastering silence helps in managing your own inner dialogue. Instead of letting your mind race with negative thoughts and worries, silence gives you the chance to center yourself and assess your feelings without judgment. It's a way to create mental space, allowing you to detach from immediate emotional reactions and view situations with greater clarity. In practice, silence doesn't mean being passive or disengaged. It's about being intentional with your words and actions. When you do choose to speak, your words carry more weight and significance because they're delivered with purpose rather than emotion. This intentionality enhances your credibility and influence as people recognize that you choose your moments to speak wisely. Number 10. Treat every emotion like a passing cloud. Mastering your emotional reactions isn't just about handling daily frustrations or conflicts. It's also about how you approach your entire life's journey. One of the most profound ways to control your emotional responses is by creating and nurturing a strong sense of purpose. When you have a clear vision of what truly matters to you, it provides a solid foundation that helps you stay grounded even when things get chaotic. Think of purpose as your internal compass. When you know what you're aiming for and why it matters, you become less swayed by the whims of daily stressors and setbacks. Your purpose acts like a filter, helping you prioritize what's important and letting go of what isn't. It's easy to get caught up in the small stuff, arguments, minor disappointments, or everyday annoyances. But when you're anchored in a deeper sense of purpose, these things start to seem less significant. You're able to keep your focus on the bigger picture and not let temporary setbacks derail you from your path. Having a sense of purpose also strengthens your resilience. Life will inevitably throw challenges your way, and without a strong sense of purpose, these challenges can feel overwhelming. But when you're driven by something meaningful, obstacles become less daunting. You see them as part of the journey rather than insurmountable barriers. Your purpose gives you the energy to push through difficulties and the clarity to navigate through complex situations with a calm and determined mindset. To cultivate a strong sense of purpose, start by reflecting on what truly drives you. What are your passions? What values resonate with you deeply? What goals give you a sense of fulfillment? It's not just about setting career goals or personal achievements. It's about understanding what gives your life meaning and how you can align your daily actions with that understanding. When your purpose is clear, it shapes your decisions, actions, and emotional responses. You become less reactive to external pressures and more focused on what aligns with your values and goals. This focus transforms how you handle stress, setbacks, and even success. Instead of being swept away by the highs and lows of life, you maintain a steady course toward what you find truly significant. Ultimately, a strong sense of purpose acts as an emotional anchor. It provides a stable foundation from which you can navigate life's ups and downs with grace and resilience. By anchoring your emotional reactions in a deep sense of purpose, you create a powerful buffer against the volatility of everyday life and ensure that you're always moving towards something meaningful and fulfilling. If you found this exploration into mastering your emotional reactions intriguing and valuable, don't miss out on more insights like these. Subscribe to our channel for in-depth discussions, practical tips, and transformative ideas that will help you navigate life's challenges with confidence and clarity. Hit that subscribe button and join our community on this journey towards emotional mastery and personal growth. Thanks for tuning in, fellow aficionados. Take care and bye.